Hey, welcome to Production Junction's YouTube channel. I wanted to make a video real quick, but first I just want to tell you I woke up like 20-30 minutes ago. I haven't showered or worked out or anything. I'm just out on my balcony here in Phuket, Thailand, in the Kata Beach region, having my yogurt with blueberries. And I was just sabai, which means chilling out. And it occurred to me that I'm really glad that I was negotiating good rates for 25 years as a cinematographer, 23 years as a cinematographer. ESIP, ESIP Sam, that's 23 in Thai. Anyway, as you might have intuited, I retired at 46 from filmmaking and moved to Thailand. So I've been here 3 years. That makes me 49 years old, and I'm absolutely loving it. But let me get back to the point of this video. So how did I get to retire from being a professional filmmaker at 46 with enough money to live in Thailand for the rest of my life? I won't go into all the details of investing or talk about the business that I also had. I have a camera rental business, obviously Production Junction. I'm just going to talk about the contribution to my retirement savings from cinematography and the most important things. So number one, the most important thing you should know is that in the filmmaking business, we get paid for our time. So a lot of people ask me what to charge, and I always say to them, like, well, depends for how many hours. And they always seem to be taken aback by it. They kind of go, well, I don't know, I don't understand the question. So, well, you're asking me what your rate should be, and your rate is based on time. So let's do a unit of time, like how many hours. So in other words, if you work a 10-hour day and your rate is $500 versus a 14-hour day and your rate is $500, that's not the same rate. Yeah, it was a day rate, but you're working 4 hours more for the same rate. You're making less per hour. It means you give a lower rate than the person doing $500 for 10 hours. Also, if you're doing 14-hour days for less money, then that person who's got you booked is probably going to have you work for those whole entire 14 hours instead of being strategic with how they're shooting. So you're not going to do as good quality work. You can do quantity work. So now your rate has gone down. Your work has gone up. Your quality has gone down. You see, that's not good, man. So, number one, you should qualify it. So when someone says, what is your rate? You should then answer with the question for how many hours. I suggest you actually come up with a flat rate per 10 hours. So in other words, here's an example. So if someone says, hey, Edwards, what's your rate? I would say 500 for 10. I wouldn't say 500. I would say 500 for 10 automatically. Hey, Edwards, what's your rate? 750 for 10. Hey, Edwards, what's your rate? 1,000 for 10. Hey, Edwards, what's your rate? 1,200 for 10. See my point? I always answer with how many hours. That's really, really important. A lot of people don't seem to grasp that. They make assumptions like, well, the day is going to be the day. Like, what if it's a 14-hour day? Anyway, what can I do about it? Well, if you say your rate is 500 for 10, then you can negotiate the other 4 hours and say, look, I'm time and a half for those other 4 hours, or I'm double time for those other 4 hours, or only charge for half of those other 4 hours. I'll charge you for 2 and I'll give you the other 2 for free because you're trying to build a relationship with that client. But again, if you don't qualify what your rate is by time, then you're absolutely wasting years and even decades of your career, throwing away your time, your energy, your resources for people that aren't going to appreciate it, aren't going to compensate you for it. You're not going to grow because of it, and you're going to be burnt out, and you're going to have a career that is going to last a lot less longer. I had a 20+ year career, and I got to tell you, it's a tough business, man. I did a lot of features back in the 90s and early aughts. And my last feature I did was 5.5 months living just outside of Death Valley in Pahrump, Nevada, in trailers that were freezing at night and, outside. We were always outside during the day filming, so I could tell you the aircon didn't work, which it didn't, but it wouldn't have mattered. And it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal living on set for almost 6 months to make a movie. The movie did very well. I went to dozens and dozens of festivals. It was in the main competition of some big festivals. But I'm not here to talk about my film. I'm just here to say it's a brutal business that we get into physically. I think spiritually, emotionally, all that stuff is fantastic. But financially, if it's not really, really awesome, you're going to burn out even quicker. So it helps that towards the end, my day rate had gone from zero for almost the first 2 years working as a PA, shooting other people's films for free, or assisting people with other films for free, which is par for the course, and still is par for the course 25 years later. But if I hadn't gone up to a rate of almost $3,000 a day at the very end, it wouldn't have been worth it, to be honestly. I mean, it kept going up and up and up. It leveled out for a while, and went up and up, and it leveled out for a while, and went up and up, and it leveled out. And then when I realized that it leveled out, and that was for me plus equipment, to be fair. My shooting rate was like around $1,200 a day, and I retired, I don't know, 5 years ago, I think, from shooting. Now I'd probably be charging $1,500. My business partner, I think his rate's like $1,500, and we were probably even with each other at the same age. If anything, he was probably further advanced. He'd started with the same skill sets that I had, but the equipment was better. The clients that he was getting were better. Like, he didn't work for free, I don't think, as a shooter once, or maybe if he did, it was one time only. I did it for 2 years, but that was different times. There was no internet to get jobs back then. Anyway, God, look at this. Is Kata Beach down there. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if this. I'm using a new app. I don't know if it changes the exposure automatically, but you see how green it is. Anyway, sorry, I just had to digress. It's amazing sitting out here. So I can make a whole bunch of videos on rates, but this video is going to be about the most important rule. I'll call this rule number one about negotiating your rate, is qualify the time. So let's practice out one more time. Hey, what's your rate? Huh? What's your rate? If you just said 250 without saying 250 for 10, or 1800 without saying 1800 for 10, well, yeah, you broke the rule, and you're gonna have a discussion with the client on set at the 10th or 11th or 12th hour, saying, "Hey, how long is this day gonna go?" Because on the call sheet it looked like an 8-hour day. Like, oh yeah, well, the client changed this, and I need to get these shots, and are you cool with it? Well, it's a really tough time to negotiate now that you're actually on set and you're with your crew, and the client's there, and the talent might be there if you're shooting a spot, and you're gonna have a negotiation about your rate right then and there. I don't think so. You're lucky if you can negotiate how long your lunch break is. Okay, so rule number one when negotiating your rate in the film industry is qualify how many hours a day your day rate actually involves. Okay, good luck to you. This means love from Thailand. Cheers.